Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In this episode, we'll be asking the question, why are chosen ones really here? In today's talk, I wanted to ask the question, why are chosen ones really here? I feel like there's also a deeper reason than what we already know. We understand that we're here to raise a vibration, learn from experiences, and teach what we've learned from those experiences to help other people make it along their journey to raising their vibration and to becoming the best version of themselves. So we understand that part. But I have a theory that I wanted to talk through with y'all and just ask the question, like, what else could it be? So we know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And we need the human body on earth to be able to experience what goes on earth. That's why we have all of our senses, so we can interact with this world. But before we made it to the human form, we were just spirits. And we don't know how long we've been spirits for before we get here, because we understand that this is temporary. Life on earth is a temporary experience. And then, after we transition, we go back to the spirit world, go back to the same place that we came from, I'm assuming. So before we got here, because we understand that Earth is, it's an experience. It's an experience to learn. We come here to learn. That's the main thing we do. There's fun stuff for us to do also, but the goal is to learn lessons. Learn from our mistakes. And as we learn from our mistakes, we elevate higher because we're getting better. We're not repeating the same mistakes over and over again, going in a circle. So as you learn from your mistakes, you quit making certain ones. So now it's becoming a spiral going upwards instead of just a circle that's starting at one point and ending back at the same point. That's what happens when you don't learn from mistakes. But when you're learning from mistakes, you're not making that same pattern anymore. So it's more of a spiral, and it can go upwards. And as you go up, we realize our vibration is rising. So, what I think God has had the chosen ones for, the reason why we're here, is because at some point we were more connected. We were more connected to the universe. I think we were all enlightened in the very beginning. I think we were more connected to the spiritual world and all the wonderful things that the universe brings. I mean, when we walked around, we didn't have shoes. So we were constantly grounding. We're getting the earth's nutrients. We were grounding all day, every day. We were outdoors in nature. I'm sure we'll be able to read, different patterns in nature and understand what they mean. We looked up at the stars way more. Probably the majority of the time. But over time, we stopped looking up and started looking forward and left to right. And that's because we started, building more stuff. So we're looking left and right at the different stores. Oh, there's Target over there. There's this over here. So we stopped looking up as much. And then as time went on even more, we started looking down. And that's the total opposite from looking up at the sky. We're looking down towards the ground now. And that's at our phone in our hand. So we spend the majority of our time looking down and forgetting where we came from and forgetting to embrace the universe. So we begin to lose touch with a big part of ourselves that was supposed to be more present in our life. We lost a connection. And there's not many people that really remember how to gain that connection anymore. So this is what makes me think that the chosen ones were placed here. Back when we were spirits, before we even made it, this is my theory. Back when we were spirits, before we even got to earth, God He got a group of humans, got a group of us, the chosen. Well, hold on. Let me back it up a little bit. Okay, so since this is an experience, spiritual beings having a human experience, and when we come to Earth, we're here to learn. It's like a trial where we're trying to figure out things. We got to learn lessons here. At some point along the journey, when we got disconnected from the universe, from all the distractions, building stuff and looking at our phones all the time, it used to be our natural state to be connected. But over time, we lost that connection. And I think there was, things being passed down for parents to teach their kids how to stay connected to the universe, to nature, to know how valuable it is to actually go outside, be in the sun, sit by a tree, meditate, ground. all and do, some mindful things. And that should have been passed down over the years. And I think it was passed down for a while. But at some point, all that valuable information was lost. It was either lost or suppressed. Maybe, God gave somebody the map, a map of enlightenment. And he's like, I'm going to give this to you. Pass it down. You know what I mean? Teach everybody so we can keep this going. Because when a baby's born, deep down inside, they probably know that all the, like nature and all this stuff feels good. But they don't really know why it feels good and how to use it. That's why parents teach their kids what they know. But over time, the parents stop teaching, probably because they didn't learn that much. And then over time, it just dwindles down to we're not even doing anything mindful anymore. There's a few people that still do it, but the majority don't. So I don't know if that information was lost or, suppressed. I don't know. But what I do think is that God got a hand, got the chosen ones, because there's not a ton. But there's a lot, but it's not a ton. It's not the majority. And had us memorize that map. Had the chosen ones memorize the map. Just in case it ever got lost. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Just in case it ever got lost or forgotten or even suppressed. We were the safeguard, or whatever you would want to call it. We were the backup. Because if you think about it, a lot of people, we've pretty much moved away from all this stuff that I've been talking about. We're far from it right now. How many people are talking about raising the vibration? It's not enough talking about it. So what God did, he gave us chosen ones, each a piece of the puzzle. He didn't give us all. He didn't give each chosen person the whole puzzle. Because it's almost like in those movies when there's like a diamond or something, a vase that's worth like $90 billion, something crazy. You got to have like 10 people that all got a key, and they all got to put the key in and twist it at the same time to unlock it. Because they don't want one person to have full control over it. Just in case, something happens to that person. So I think all the chosen, we all have a piece of the puzzle. That's why when we come together with our information, we're building something in the end. And we're sharing information back and forth. But what tends to happen is once we were born, all right, we've memorized our part of that map to enlightenment. We memorized that part. When we got here, as soon as we were born, we were, taught everything that we're taught. Just the way of society. Just how to navigate the world. But there's not much being taught about enlightenment. So we learn everything besides enlightenment. So that never really comes up until like later, whenever you decide to think about it. But it's almost presented as just an option. not a necessity, like which I think it is. It's something that should be, taught. Because that's a big part of who we are, just deep down inside. So what happens is, when there's a part of this map that needs to, be shown, that's when God will like touch us and we'll have an awakening. Because when you're having an awakening, you begin to remember who you were. And this is before you've got here, before you arrived here on earth. You kind of you're remembering what you memorized. Just in case that map got lost, and that map did get lost, because look how far away we are from nature and all that stuff. And enlightenment, we're far from it. So, by God making us memorize what enlightenment is, he'd tap us. He's like, well, these people already made them the chosen ones. He sprinkled us all around the world. Just sprinkled us here. And we know why do you think we know some ancient knowledge? Because it was deep in us. We memorized that before we got here. Just in case we were the backup plan, just in case this wisdom was lost along the way. So when we have our awakening, we begin to remember where we came, like who we are, and we begin to remember what we memorized. Because it was buried deep from everything that we've learned from school, and then as we watch TV shows, now we're remembering the TV shows. Now we have all these friends and stuff. It's just so much stuff to where all that ancient knowledge is at the bottom. So that's why he has put you into isolation. He'll have you go through the isolation to where you remove all your friends. You remove watching, whatever you're watching on TV and on your phone. Because he needs all that information to detox out of your body and out of your mind, to where this ancient information can rise to the top. It starts floating up. It takes a while because it's been buried for years with a bunch of everything. I would just call it a bunch of distractions to keep you from knowing this information. So I think that's almost where an awakening comes from. He's like, hey, things are getting a little too far. The scales are tipping too much. There's too much low vibrational things going on. We need some people out here to get on the other side of the scale and raise the vibration so we can even things out. Because the scale's always got to balance out at the end of the day. Nothing can go all one way and work out. It's got to just be a balance, at least a balance. I mean, we understand one side might be higher at one point and the other side might be higher at one point, but one or the other can't just be at the top. It's not going to work. Just imagine holding a glass of water. If you tilt it too far one way, it spills. So that's why you got to keep it balanced. The glass of water will give you a little, the water in the glass will, you have a little movement, you can go a little bit left or right without it spilling, but you can't go too far one way. And then there's a disaster. You've wasted your water. So that's why we balance out the scales, and that's why different people are awakened to help enlighten others to raise that vibration to even out that scale. So we can get things back to normal a little bit. But don't get me wrong, like, I'm glad we have the technology. The technology is perfect, because if we didn't have technology, then I wouldn't be able to deliver this to y'all. And I think we just need we can have our technology, but we also need some enlightenment. We need all the things that go with that as well. It needs to be balanced out. We're too far one way. So I would like to kind of know what some other chosen ones have experienced. So once I do meet my soul tribe, haven't met them yet, but I know they're heading this way just from the vibration, keeping that high vibration. Likes attract like attracts like. And we'll be having that talk once we do meet. It'll be fun to go back and forth on some theories about some of these different things, because I want to know what other people know, other chosen ones know as well. So we can start putting these puzzle pieces together. And once we all come together, look out. We're definitely going to be raising the vibration. But I'm going to end this right here. But until next time.